The night Allah changed a servant's destiny did not begin with a miracle in the sky. It began with a quiet heart that finally remembered where it belonged. Tonight, as the world becomes silent and your eyes become heavy, listen to this story slowly, because perhaps Allah has placed this reminder here for your heart. There was once a young man named Adam who lived in a peaceful village surrounded by mountains, rivers, and endless fields. To others, his life looked ordinary. He woke early, worked hard, smiled politely, and always greeted people with kindness. But behind that smile was a battle nobody could see. Adam carried worries that became heavier every day. He worried about his family. He worried about his future. He worried about mistakes from his past. And most of all, he worried that perhaps Allah had forgotten him. Every night, when the village became quiet and the light slowly disappeared from the windows, Adam sat alone beside his small room. He looked at the stars and whispered, "Why, Allah, I know you are near. But sometimes my heart becomes tired. Please give me strength to continue." He was not asking for a perfect life. He was only asking for enough strength to survive another day. And sometimes, that is one of the most honest prayers a person can make. Because Allah does not only hear the prayers spoken with confidence. Allah hears the prayers whispered through tears. Allah hears the heart that says, "I am trying. I am struggling. I need you." For many years, Adam believed that success meant having everything under control. He believed strong people never felt afraid. He believed faithful people never became tired. But slowly, Allah taught him a deeper lesson. A strong believer is not someone who never falls. A strong believer is someone who always returns to Allah after falling. The heart is not tested because Allah wants to break it. Sometimes the heart is tested because Allah wants to clean it. Sometimes a closed door is not rejection. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes a delay is not punishment. Sometimes it is preparation. But Adam did not understand this yet. He only knew that his life was becoming more difficult. His small business had failed. His savings disappeared. His father became sick. The responsibilities that once felt manageable now felt like mountains. Every morning, Adam woke up carrying the same question, "How will I solve everything?" He searched for answers everywhere. He asked people. He made plans. He worked longer hours. But the more he tried to control everything, the more exhausted his heart became. One evening, after another difficult day, Adam walked home under a sky filled with dark clouds. The wind was cold. The streets were empty. Rain began falling slowly. As he walked, he passed an old mosque at the edge of the village. The lights were still on. For a moment, he continued walking. His mind said, "You are too tired. Go home. Nothing will change." But his heart quietly said, "Just enter." So Adam stopped. He opened the mosque door. Inside, everything was peaceful. The smell of clean carpets filled the room. A small lantern created a warm golden light. There was no noise. No pressure. No expectation. Only peace. Adam sat at the back of the mosque. For several minutes, he said nothing. He simply breathed. For the first time that day, he allowed himself to stop fighting. And then he heard the Imam reciting a verse, "Indeed, with hardship comes ease." The words were simple. But that night, they touched his heart differently. Adam realized something. Maybe Allah was not asking him to understand everything. Maybe Allah was asking him to trust. Maybe the answer was not always removing the storm. Maybe sometimes the answer was giving the heart strength to walk through it. Adam stood slowly. He made wudu. The water touched his face. The water touched his hands. The water touched his feet. With every movement, he imagined leaving behind the fear that had followed him for years. Then he stood for prayer. His voice was weak. His body was tired. His eyes were filled with tears. But he continued. After finishing his prayer, Adam remained in sujud. And there, in the quiet darkness of the mosque, he finally spoke honestly. "Why, Allah? I have tried to be strong for everyone. I have tried to carry everything alone. But tonight, I admit that I need you. Please guide me. Please do not let my heart become lost." And in that moment, something changed. Not the outside world. Not his financial problems. Not his responsibilities. But something inside him changed. The burden became lighter. Because Adam finally understood the first lesson of his journey: a servant does not become weak when he depends on Allah. A servant becomes stronger because he knows he is never alone. That night was not the night when all problems disappeared. It was the night when Adam stopped believing that problems were bigger than Allah's mercy. And that was the beginning of everything. After that night in the mosque, Adam walked home through the quiet streets with a different feeling in his heart. His problems were still waiting for him. The bills were still there. His father was still sick. His business was still gone. But something inside him had become calmer. For the first time in a long time, Adam understood that peace does not always come when everything is solved. Sometimes peace comes when the heart finally trusts the one who controls everything. That night, before sleeping, Adam placed his hand over his chest and whispered, "Allah is with me. Allah knows my struggle. Allah sees every effort I make." Then he closed his eyes. The room was still small. The night was still quiet. But his heart felt lighter. And for the first time in many months, Adam slept peacefully. Not because he knew what tomorrow would bring, but because he trusted the one who already knew. The next morning, Adam woke before sunrise. The first light of dawn entered through his window. The village was still sleeping. The birds had just begun singing. Adam performed wudu and prayed Fajr. After the prayer, he sat quietly and made a simple dua: "Ya Allah, guide my steps today. Let me do what I can and leave the rest to you." Then he opened an old notebook. Inside were dreams he had written years ago. Dreams he had forgotten. Dreams he thought were impossible. But that morning, he wrote 3 new promises: work with honesty, improve myself every day, help someone whenever I can. The list was simple. But sometimes Allah begins a great transformation through small, sincere decisions. Adam spent years waiting for a huge opportunity. He thought one perfect moment would suddenly change his life. But he learned something important: a mountain is climbed one step at a time. A beautiful future is built through small actions repeated with patience. That morning, Adam walked around the village searching for work. The first place rejected him. The second place had no position. The third place told him to come back another day. With every rejection, his old fears tried to return. "You are not good enough. You will fail again. Nothing has changed." But Adam remembered his prayer. He remembered the peaceful feeling inside the mosque. He remembered that Allah sees effort, even when people do not. So he continued. Finally, near the center of the village, he found a small bakery. The owner was an elderly man named Yusuf. Yusuf looked at Adam and asked, "What kind of work can you do?" Adam answered honestly, "I can work hard. I can learn. And I will do my best." The old man smiled. "I do not need someone perfect. I need someone trustworthy." That sentence touched Adam deeply, because for a long time he thought his value came from what he achieved. But Yusuf reminded him that character is also a blessing. Adam began working at the bakery. The work was simple. He carried flour. He cleaned tables. He arranged bread. He opened the shop before sunrise. It was not the life he imagined. But every morning he whispered, "Alhamdulillah," because he learned that a small halal blessing is better than a large blessing that removes peace. Weeks passed. Adam became known as a reliable worker. He arrived early. He helped others. He treated customers with kindness. The villagers noticed something different about him. They noticed that even after hardship, he still carried gentleness. One afternoon, Yusuf asked, "Adam, why are you always grateful even though life has been difficult?" Adam smiled. "Because I used to think happiness would come after my problems disappeared. But now I know that gratitude can exist even while problems remain." Yusuf nodded. That is a lesson many people learn too late. Adam continued working. But one evening, something unexpected happened. A young child entered the bakery. The child was holding an old book. His face looked confused. He sat near the corner and tried to read. But he struggled. Adam noticed. "Can I help you?" The child looked embarrassed. "I cannot read this properly." Adam smiled. There is nothing to be ashamed of. Everyone begins as a beginner. He sat beside the child. Slowly, he helped him understand the words. The child repeated each sentence. Again. And again. Until finally, he read the entire page. The child smiled with happiness. And in that moment, something awakened inside Adam. A dream he thought was lost. A dream from his childhood. The dream of teaching. The dream of helping others learn. The dream of becoming someone who gives hope. That night, Adam realized something powerful. Sometimes Allah does not return our old dreams in the same form. Sometimes Allah brings them back through a new path. The dream was not destroyed. It was being prepared. Adam began helping more children after sunset. At first, only one child came. Then 2. Then 5. They gathered inside the bakery after closing time. There were no expensive classrooms. No beautiful decorations. Only a few chairs, old books, and sincere hearts. But something special happened there. Children who once felt afraid of learning began believing in themselves. Children who thought they were not smart began discovering their abilities. And every time Adam saw their smiles, his own heart healed. Because he realized the blessing he was searching for was not only receiving help. The blessing was becoming a source of help. One evening, while watching the children study, Adam remembered his darkest night. The night he almost gave up. the night he thought Allah had forgotten him. He smiled softly, because he finally understood. Allah had not abandoned him. Allah had been guiding him step by step. The closed doors, the difficult days, the painful lessons, everything had been shaping him into someone he was not ready to become before. And that became the second great lesson of his journey: never judge your story while Allah is still writing it. A chapter of hardship does not mean the book has a sad ending. Sometimes the hardest pages contain the greatest transformation. As the months passed, the small lessons inside Yusuf's bakery continued. Every evening after closing, the warm light of the bakery remained on. Outside, the village became quiet. The streets became empty. But inside that small place, something beautiful was happening. Children were discovering knowledge. Hearts were discovering hope. And Adam was discovering a purpose he thought he had lost forever. He no longer saw himself as a man who had failed. He saw himself as a servant who was still being guided. But life was not finished testing him. Because every journey toward goodness is tested. Not because Allah wants to make a person suffer, but because tests reveal what is truly inside the heart. One morning, Adam received difficult news. His father's illness became worse. The medicine became more expensive. The money he earned from the bakery was not enough. That night, after everyone left, Adam sat alone. The same old fears returned. What if I cannot help my father? What if I fail again? What if I am not strong enough? For a moment, Adam felt the weight returning. But then he remembered the night in the mosque. He remembered his own words, "Ya Allah, I need you." He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Then he whispered, "Ya Allah, I may not know the solution, but I know you are the one who provides." The next day, while working at the bakery, a man approached him. The man was known in the village as someone who had a lot of money. He looked at Adam and said, "I heard about your situation. I can help you." Adam felt relieved. Perhaps this was the answer to his dua. But then the man continued, "There is a business opportunity. You do not need to ask too many questions. You can earn a lot quickly." Adam became silent. He understood what the man was suggesting. It was not a clean path. It was not something that would bring peace. But the money was tempting. Very tempting. His father needed medicine. His responsibilities were growing. His heart was tired. For a few moments, Adam stood between two choices. One path promised quick comfort. Another path required patience. Then he remembered something Yusuf once told him, "My son, a blessing from Allah may arrive slowly, but it never leaves your heart empty." Adam looked at the man and gently replied, "I appreciate your offer, but I cannot choose something that gives my family money while taking away my peace with Allah." The man left. Adam returned to work. That day, he earned little. But that night, he slept with a peaceful heart. And he learned one of the greatest lessons of life: not every opportunity is a blessing. Some things arrive looking like solutions but secretly remove the peace we are searching for. A clean heart with little wealth is richer than a troubled heart with great wealth. Days continued. Adam worked harder. He studied at night. He helped the children. He cared for his father. His schedule was exhausting. Some nights, he fell asleep while reading. Some mornings, he woke feeling tired. But he continued, because he had learned that consistency is one of the quiet forms of worship. Not every act of faith feels powerful. Sometimes faith looks like waking up when you are tired. Sometimes faith looks like trying again after disappointment. Sometimes faith looks like choosing what is right when nobody is watching. One evening, a little girl named Mariam came to the bakery. She carried a book and looked nervous. Adam asked, "What happened?" She answered quietly, "My classmates laugh because I read slowly." Adam sat beside her. He opened the book. Then he said, "Mariam, never be ashamed of learning slowly. A flower does not apologize because it takes time to bloom." The girl smiled. Adam continued, "Allah does not compare your journey with someone else's journey. Your responsibility is to keep growing." Those words became a lesson for everyone in the room. Because many people compare themselves to others. They compare their success, their wealth, their achievements, their timing. But Allah does not measure people by comparison. Allah sees effort. Allah sees sincerity. Allah sees the heart. The small evening lessons became more popular. Parents started bringing their children. Workers came after finishing their jobs. Older people who never had the chance to study also joined. The bakery slowly became a place of learning and kindness. One day, Yusuf watched Adam teaching. He smiled. "You know something, Adam." Adam looked at him. "Years ago, you came here looking for a job. But Allah brought you here to discover your purpose." Adam lowered his eyes. He knew Yusuf was right. The job was only the beginning. The real gift was the transformation that happened inside him. Before, he asked, "Why is this happening to me?" Now he asked, "What is Allah teaching me through this?" That change in his question changed his life. Because sometimes the biggest transformation does not happen when circumstances change. It happens when the heart changes its perspective. One peaceful evening, Adam walked home after teaching. The sky was filled with stars. The same sky he had looked at during his darkest days. But now he looked at it differently. The stars reminded him that darkness does not mean there is no light. It only means the light is easier to notice. He stopped for a moment and whispered, "Alhamdulillah for every closed door that protected me. Alhamdulillah for every delay that prepared me. Alhamdulillah for every hardship that brought me closer to you." And that night, Adam understood the deeper meaning of destiny. Allah was not only changing his circumstances. Allah was changing him. Because the greatest blessing is not always getting what we want. Sometimes the greatest blessing is becoming the person who is ready to receive what Allah gives. Years continued to pass. The small lessons inside Yusuf's bakery became something much bigger than anyone expected. What started with one child and one simple book slowly became a place where many hearts found hope. People from different backgrounds came together. Children, workers, parents, elderly people who wanted to learn something new. Everyone was welcomed. Nobody was judged because of their past. Nobody was rejected because they started late. Adam always remembered how it felt to believe that he was too far behind. So he created a place where people could believe that a new beginning was always possible. One evening, after teaching, Adam sat alone in the bakery. The room was quiet. The chairs were empty. The lamps were glowing softly. He looked around and smiled. He remembered the night when he entered the mosque with a broken heart. He remembered how hopeless he felt. He remembered thinking that his story was already finished. But Allah had been writing a new chapter all along. A chapter he could not see. A chapter he could not imagine. A chapter filled with lessons hidden inside difficulties. That night, Adam made a long dua. Ya Allah, thank you for every moment that brought me closer to you. Thank you for the struggles that taught me patience. Thank you for the delays that protected me. Thank you for the doors you closed because you knew which doors were better. As he finished his prayer, he felt deep peace. Not because life was perfect, but because his heart had found its foundation. Months later, a woman named Sarah visited the village. She worked with an organization that supported education programs. She heard about the small evening classes happening inside the bakery. She wanted to see it herself. When she arrived, she saw Adam teaching a group of children. One child was struggling to read. Adam sat beside him patiently. He did not rush. He did not criticize. He encouraged every small improvement. Sarah watched quietly. After the lesson ended, she approached Adam. "I have been looking for someone like you," she said. Adam smiled. "Someone like me?" "Yes," she replied. "Someone who understands that education is not only about information. It is about giving people confidence and dignity." Then she asked, "Have you ever considered continuing your own education?" Adam became silent. That dream felt distant. Almost forgotten. "I stopped studying many years ago," he answered. Sarah smiled. A dream that pauses is not always a dream that dies. Those words touched Adam's heart, because they reminded him of something important. Allah can return something to us after years, but in a better form and at the right time. Sarah offered Adam an opportunity to continue his education through a scholarship program. At first, Adam was afraid. He thought, "Am I too old? Is it too late? Can I really do this?" But then he remembered. The same thoughts had once tried to stop him from looking for work. The same thoughts had once told him that his future was finished. And Allah had already shown him that impossible things can become possible. So Adam accepted. The journey was not easy. He worked during the day. He studied at night. He cared for his father. Some days were exhausting. Some nights he wanted to give up. But every time he felt weak, he returned to the lesson he learned in the mosque: do what you can. Trust Allah with what you cannot control. Slowly, step by step, Adam completed his studies. He became a teacher. Not just a teacher of books. A teacher of patience. A teacher of kindness. A teacher who understood the hearts of people who felt forgotten. Years later, Adam opened a community learning center. The building was simple, but inside it were dreams being awakened every day. Children who once felt incapable discovered confidence. Adults who missed education found another chance. People who felt invisible finally felt valued. And every evening, before starting the lessons, Adam repeated the same message: your past does not decide your future. Allah can create a new path at any moment. One day, an elderly man entered the center. Adam looked at him carefully. Then his eyes filled with emotion. It was Musa, the old caretaker from the mosque. The man who gave him bread on the night when he felt completely broken. Adam quickly approached him. "Teacher Musa." They embraced. Adam said, "You were one of the reasons my life changed." Musa smiled gently. "No, my son. Allah changed your life. I was only a person Allah used to remind you that you were never alone." Those words became the final lesson Adam needed. People may become a reason. Opportunities may become a reason. Moments may become a reason. But the one who controls every reason is Allah. Never attach your heart completely to creation. Appreciate people. Love people. Thank people. But keep your deepest trust for Allah. Because only Allah knows the beginning, the middle, and the end of your story. Years later, when Adam looked back, he realized something beautiful. The night he thought was his darkest night was actually the night his new life began. The night he lost his job became the night he found his purpose. The night he cried became the night he learned to trust. The night he felt abandoned became the night he discovered Allah was closer than ever. And this is the final lesson of Adam's journey. Sometimes Allah changes your destiny by first changing your heart. Sometimes the answer to your dua does not arrive as a gift. Sometimes it arrives as patience. Sometimes it arrives as strength. Sometimes it arrives as a new version of yourself. So tonight, if your heart is tired, remember Adam's story. Remember, you are not forgotten. Your struggle is not meaningless. Your delays are not always denial. Your tears are not wasted. Allah sees every silent battle you fight. Allah knows every effort nobody notices. Allah hears every dua you whisper before sleeping. Now, allow your heart to rest. Take a slow breath. Release the worries of today. You do not need to solve everything tonight. Tomorrow has its own sunrise. Tonight is for healing. Tonight is for peace. Tonight is for trusting Allah. Say quietly within your heart, I am under Allah's care. I am guided. I am protected. I am allowed to rest. My past does not define me. Allah's mercy is greater than my mistakes. Tomorrow is another chance to become better. Close your eyes. Relax your body. Let your thoughts become slower. Let your heart become calmer. The one who carried you through yesterday will carry you through tomorrow. May Allah replace your worries with peace. May Allah heal your hidden pain. May Allah bless your family. May Allah increase your faith. May Allah open doors that are good for you and close doors that would harm you. May Allah give you halal provision, a peaceful heart, a healthy body, and a life filled with barakah. May every tear you cried become a reason for mercy. May every difficulty you survived become a reason for strength. May every sincere dua you made become a light guiding your path. Sleep peacefully tonight. Wake up tomorrow with hope. Wake up with gratitude. Wake up knowing that Allah is still writing your beautiful story. Because sometimes the night that feels like the end is actually the night Allah begins changing your destiny.